Have you ever had a strong idea that failed to gain traction? It was an idea that you believed in, an idea that you know could have improved something, it could have solved something, changed something, but somehow it just never landed in the room. Or have you ever left a meeting and thought to yourself, I should have said something, but you didn't? Or you've watched someone secure an opportunity that you wanted, not because they were more talented, not because they worked harder, but because they seemed to better be able to gain support, build trust, and influence decisions. You may have felt overlooked, you may have felt underestimated or frustrated that people don't seem to value the value that you bring. And if so, you're not alone. And that's exactly why I've created this channel. My name is Sharon Amesu, and for 16 years I worked as a criminal barrister, and my job was to make a case, to analyse evidence, to ask questions, test arguments, communicate clearly under pressure, and ultimately to persuade. And over time, I came to realize that the most valuable lessons that I learned in the courtroom weren't only relevant to lawyers. They were relevant to leaders. They were relevant to professionals, entrepreneurs, to parents, to anyone trying to navigate work, leadership, life, and to communicate and build connection. Because making a case isn't something that only happens in court. Every day, whether we realize it or not, we are making a case. We are making a case for our ideas, a case for our projects. You are making a case for your team, a case for change, a case for investment, a case for connection, for promotion, for a new opportunity. But the problem is that most of us have never been taught how to do this well. We've been taught to do the job. We've been taught to gain qualifications. We've been taught to build expertise. But very few of us have been taught how to advocate, how to communicate your ideas in a way that people understand. How do you go about building trust, influencing decisions? How do you navigate disagreement? How do you bring and handle challenge? How do you speak with clarity when you're in high stakes situations? And yet these are the skills that determine whether an idea moves forward or stalls, whether a career progresses or plateaus, whether a leader gains support or struggles to gain traction, whether your relationship thrives or is thwarted. And over the last decade, since leaving the practice as a barrister, I've worked with leaders across organisations, boards, leadership teams, and I've coached senior executives, facilitated leadership development programs, delivered keynotes, worked with people who are exceptionally bright and brilliant, capable and accomplished. But one thing has become increasingly clear to me. Many people do not have a problem with their talent. They have a problem with their ability to advocate for themselves. They struggle to communicate their ideas, the value of their ideas. They struggle to gain support for change. They struggle to make their contribution visible. They struggle to influence decisions in their organization. And because of that gap, that advocacy gap, great contributions are missed. Great people are often unseen. And one of the biggest myths that I have seen over and over again is that there's this assumption that good work will speak for itself. I don't believe that it does. I believe that the value of something is not always obvious. Part of leadership is helping people to see the value. Part of influence is helping people to understand it. And part of advocacy is helping people to appreciate it. And that's why I believe that advocacy is one of the most important skills of modern life. And that's become especially important, I believe, in the age of AI. Because AI can write the message, but leaders still have to deliver that message. It can generate content, but it can't generate trust. And it can provide information, but it can't provide human judgment. And as content becomes easier to create, the ability to communicate with clarity, credibility, and conviction becomes even more valuable. People still need to make decisions. People still need to build relationships. They need to navigate disagreement. They need to influence outcomes. They need to make a case. And that's where the modern advocate comes in. The modern advocate has been built on one simple belief that the skills that help lawyers every day in the courtroom are the same skills that can help each of us every day in our work, in our leadership, in our life. And that's not because we're all going to try to become lawyers, but it's because we are all advocates, whether we realize it or not. We're advocating for our ideas. We're advocating for our teams, for our communities, for the people we care about. We are advocates for the future we'd like to create. So on this channel, I'll be sharing practical lessons with you from the courtroom that I believe can help you to think more clearly, to communicate more effectively, to build trust more quickly, to handle those difficult conversations, to navigate disagreement, to become a stronger advocate for yourself, for your ideas, and for the people that you serve. I'm going to also be sharing some frameworks that I've developed over the years in my experience as a barrister, an executive coach, and leadership advisor. And these frameworks that I'll be sharing with you will be designed to help you make better decisions, to communicate more persuasively, and build stronger relationships, and make a strong case for what matters. Some of the ideas will be practical, some will be reflective, some will challenge conventional wisdom. Some of them will draw from lessons in the courtroom, others will draw on leadership, psychology, communication, and human behavior. But they will all be connected by this one central idea. Every day, whether we realize it or not, we are making a case. And the question is, how strong is yours? So, if you'd like to become a better, stronger advocate for yourself, for your ideas, for the people you serve and the people you work with, you're in the right place. Subscribe to this channel and follow for more. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is the most important case that you are trying right now? Thank you for being here and welcome to The Modern Advocate. I'll see you next time.